How you doing, everybody? I'm Andy Malfrina. This is Drag the Lake. Let's talk about the new Yosemite and Black release, The Pursuit Of. These dudes, I've known about them very recently. I think it was the shout out Lawn Chair Youth. They're doing the Lord's work over there. They take a good band, they put them in black and white. They have the camera slowly panning back and forth, and there's just something about that formula where you put that shit up there, you see it, and you get jazzed up over these bands. Now, it's easy to get jazzed up over these guys. They put out a really strong release. Yeah, man, let's just go over it real quick. It's worth your time. Go check it out. If you like heavy music, if you like fast music, if you like music with a hard driving forward momentum, but also incorporates heavy grooves, it's where you want to go. Because I don't think you get in this genre. There's a lot of bands that sort of neglect that groove aspect, and these guys are looking for that full force. They're not overly technical. They definitely have a lot of cool technical shit you would find in metal, but I think they're more focused on the groove element of it. I looked it up, they called themselves hippie hardcore, which not a big fan of the hippies, but hey man, if they're getting into heavy music and putting their twist on it, I'm all for it. I'm down to check it out. I read a lot about MK Ultra. I don't trust hippies. Anyway, regardless, I talk about it a bunch on these channels. Like, I'm always a fan of sort of intermingling of genres, and you can hear it in their music. I'm not ultra familiar with hippie shit, but at the same time, you can feel it sort of bleed through just they have this different element that you're not necessarily going to experience in a lot of other hardcore bands, but also at the same time they incorporate a lot of stuff you've heard before and then just twist it into this unique version of their own. Yeah, they have a lot of I'm not the biggest fan of, or I shouldn't say, when I say it like that it sounds like I dislike it. I don't think I listen to enough like thrash metal and stuff like that, but this is just the band's giving me vibes of like old school hardcore, old school metal, when it was sort of in that vague pocket where it was like kind of punk rock but not completely punk rock. It's giving me vibes of that. It's giving me vibes of like metalcore and new metal. It's just a good fucking time. It's the kind of music you're gonna want to listen to like on your way to work to kind of get you in a good mood. This would definitely be good gym music. So yeah, I fucked with it a lot, and I think you should check it out too. So it's a short release. It's only 20 minutes, but I've talked about it before. I don't mind the short albums, especially as a guy who's trying to maintain a music review channel and a music podcast, and I just have so many fucking interests. If a band can get in there and get out and give you a good representation of themselves, I'm all fucking for it. What else do I want to say about it? Yeah, I have some. Oh, that's the other part. I always like to listen to a band to think, would they be fun to see live? Because I'm personally a guy who you try to get involved in it. Sometimes you get punched in the face. I've had that experience a few times, but more or less, I'm a guy who likes to get involved in the music, and the music does that. It has this like upbeat feel to it. The one thing I like about them is they don't lean on the breakdown as a crutch, and I love breakdowns. I'm a big breakdown dude, but some bands, they make songs that are like, you're hanging out till it gets to the breakdown. You hear a two-step part, you hear a circle pit part, but you're kind of like hanging out till it gets to the breakdown. This band, you hear the definite metal influence in them, because it's a lot of strong driving rhythms and beats. And something as a drummer I kind of like noticed a lot with these guys is the drummer's like implementing a lot of things you don't normally hear. Like, he's hitting there's a couple songs where he hits like a good 4 on the floor, which is just like that pounding, like doom 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 doom, while they're going like doom 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 doom, like, and it just pushes the song forward. Yeah. One other thing I wanted to mention about this, which was a really cool aspect of it. I don't know if it's because maybe they're still a smaller band. Like, they got a respectable amount of listens. They're at like 50,000 a month on Spotify, which is a respectable amount of listens, but they're still a pretty new band. They're in that phase of like a lot of hardcore bands go through, where they got a lot of music out, but it's just singles. This is their first, it's 20 minutes. So I think it's pushing. It's labeled as an album on Spotify, but I would say 20 minutes is pushing the album definition, but it also is a little long for an EP, so I'm not a stickler. Let's call it an album. But yeah, this is their first like full-length album release. And yeah, it gets me excited to sort of invest in this band and see where they go long term. But yeah, not a lot to say. It was just fucking good. So if you've seen these guys around, if you've heard about them, and you're thinking about checking out Yosemite in Black, please do check out their new release by Yosemite in Black. All right, I'm Aiden Malfrina. Thank you for watching. Have a good one. Be about it. Peace.